Third row to the outside. The last row will be made up by Gary Charlo, and the 003 will get a name in on that very shortly. So it'll be Castell far away on the green flag here. Not one lap completed yet, as now going to the outside is Castell. Quickly on the move is Daryl Mitchell on the backstretch as he's looking to get that second place. Jean-Marc LaRose in the 003 is now Charlo. Slows between turns 1 and 2. And not sure if he's going to be able to make a pit side, but Castell will come around and leap lap number 1, followed by Mitchell, Daryl Mainville, and that'll be the 101 of Stuart Musa. Going up to third now is Charlo, coming to a creepy crawl as he tries to make a pit side. Some mechanical issues on that machine. Not sure if you're going to see the yellow, but now making the move on the outside, the 37 of Daryl Mitchell, and there's the...
Thinks about these big races, and we got 40-plus cars. You're always going to have to send somebody home for sure.
So now on the green flag, fire out of turn 4. Stuart Musa, the man on the move to the inside, gets into the backside of Castell. Castell now gets sideways, fishtails it, back to the left, back to the right, and he'll go to the high side, regroup. And the unfortunate one on that one, the 37 machine of Daryl Mitchell had nowhere to go. Stuart Musa breaks free on that one, down the backstretch, now into turns 3 and 4. Musa going to kick it sideways, coming into turn 4, regains it, and keeps it straight, gets a warning from the flagger now, as in hot pursuit, the 89 of Matthew Oban. 3 laps in. Oban in second, riding in the number 3rd spot, the 17 of Zaire. Now the man on the move, started scratch on the field, the 003 of Jean-Marc LaRose works his way up into the number 3 spot. Coming into turn 3 now, LaRose to the top side as Musa down to the front stretch. Going to come around with 2 laps remaining here for the 4-cylinder Bandits. Musa very advantageous tonight as he'll make his way down to the backstretch, followed by Oban and the 003 of Jean-Marc LaRose. Now coming around to collect that 1 lap to go flag is the 101 of Stuart Musa. Musa followed by Oban and the 003 of Jean-Marc LaRose. Castell rides in 4th, and Zaira continues to battle here with the 37 of Mitchell for that number 5 spot. Musa, he looks to be locked in and dialed in for that number 1 spot, looking to pick up another heat race win here tonight. Gets a little to the high side coming out of 4. He'll come down to collect the checkers, but the race for the number 5 spot is where it's at, and the 37 of Daryl Mitchell will come around. He'll claim that one. So Oban will finish in second, the 003 of Jean-Marc.
Set and ready to go. 8 laps to scheduled distance tonight. First of 2 pro stock heat events on the speedway. Off of corner number 4 we go. Green flag flies. Dion Oaks sees it first. And quickly up into turns 1 and 2 they go. It is the 48 of Oaks jumping into that top spot early on with the 69 of Swamp, the 6 of LeBrun, and the 1R of Thompson battling for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as Allen and P.J. Peters work their way from the back of the field. Up off of corner number 4 we go. Lap number 1 is already on the scoreboard. And the 48 of Dion Oaks is your race leader at this time. Field heading down the back straightaway with Jody Swamp and Stefan LeBrun in that top 3 order as Ricky Thompson struggles continue for the former track champion here back in 2010 as he heads pit side with that machine. Up in front, though, Dion Oaks continues to lead the way. Picked up his first feature win in quite some time here at Mohawk, way back on May the 18th. So Dion getting back to his winning ways, and also picked up a feature win earlier this year at Cornwall as well. And Cornwall has a big show this coming Sunday night as well, and we'll get into that a little later on here tonight as Oaks continues to lead the way, followed by Stefan LeBrun, another driver who had finally gotten back into the winner's circle after 4 years of going winless. He gets back to the winner's circle. P.J. Peters is no stranger to this winner's circle here, as he's picked up a win already this season back on June the 15th. And right now he sets in that 3rd spot with Alan Peters into 4th. Jody Swamp also with a win this year. Rounds out the top 5. Field heads down into turns 3 and 4, and it is all Dion Oaks right now. He is setting a torrid pace out there. He's comfortable out in that number 1 spot. Battle just behind them is the 6 of LeBrun, followed by the 73 of P.J. Peters. The 88 of Alan Peters starts to close in on this battle as well. Field hits the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, and LeBrun has got a little bit of pressure right now in the form of P.J. Peters as they work it up off of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. 2 laps left to go. And Dion Oakes is waiting for nobody as he drives away with the lead. Stefan LeBrun doing everything in the books to hold off P.J. and Alan Peters for second as they head off into turns 3 and 4. White flag will be displayed this time by for Dion Oakes as he sets down into turns 1 and 2 with a comfortable advantage about 6 car lengths over Stefan LeBrun, who is feeling the heat right now from P.J. Peters as Peters looks to the bottom side of the speedway off of turn number 2 and down into turn number 3 they go. Peters trying to get by LeBrun on the final lap. Checkered flag is out. Oakes will win it. Second still up for grabs. It will go to LeBrun. P.J. and Alan Peters third and fourth. And Jody Swan. For now, I'll have to make a.
You'll find out that week in September I'm not housebroken either.
I'll dig up some dirt.
So the 4 of Oban off to the on the start here. The Owen of Owen White settles into that number 2 spot. To the inside will go the number 8 of Mark Lalone. Lalone taking a peek down low. Owen White says, I better get on the gas here as I've got company for that number 2 spot. Rock Oban settling into the early race lead. Yes, Gene, I said early race lead. Oban now, he'll collect lap number 1 as the leader. Oban settling into that number 1 spot. Lalone once again taking a peek down low, but runs out of real estate. Now that number 4 spot is the race to watch on the racetrack. Denway, the 64 car. He's starting to find his groove here at Mohawk. Denway to the top side. The 14 machine, we do believe that may be. Not sure. So now up back onto the backstretch, it is the 4 of Oban settling nicely into that race lead here with 2 laps in. 6 laps of remaining distance here for the Pro Stocks. Nice field of cars here tonight. Owen White rides in second, followed by the 8 of Mark Malone. Dan Denway in 4th, and in 5th, we may think that's Sid Harmer. Not sure if it's junior, senior.
I don't know.
We're guessing. We're throwing names out here, folks. Anybody who knows, just go to the bottom of the tower and please pass that word along. We want to make sure we get that name right here. As Oban doing a nice job up front now. Owen White will slip up just a little bit coming out of 2. Door was open and quickly shut by Owen White. Sid Harmer Jr. I had it right, Tim. You kept guessing, but I knew who it was all along. Glad you could play along with me tonight, Tim.
I didn't want to steer you the wrong way, that's for sure.
Steer. That was a play on words. Anyway, Kevin Federley now will ride around in the back here, having a difficult time keeping up as his machine not quite on the same par as these Pro Stocks, just a little bit different makeup chassis. As now Denway gets into the marbles into turn 3, loses the handle. I believe he's got a right rear. Yes, he does. He's got a right rear flat as he'll come around with 2 laps to go. Now the battle for the number 2 spot. It'll be ON of Owen White to the high side. The 8 of Mark Malone will drift a little bit down further of the track, trying to find some racing bite here, and that's not going to work out for him. 1 lap to go on the field for Rock Oban. Oban about a 10-car length lead as he fires down to the backstretch. Owen White in second. Very nicely, he's held his racing line here all evening in this heat race. Mark Malone gets a little loose and squirrely. Not going to be able to make up much distance. It'll be Rock Oban coming around to collect heat race win number 2.
Outside, and they will be set and ready to go here. First of 3 358 modifying heat events on the speedway. Off of corner number 4 we go. And Austin kind of lazily waves the green flag, and quickly the yellow comes back out here. No laps complete. Complete restart once again. So the caution flag will wave, and look out. Everybody brake check time. So we're going to try this restart all over again. Looks a little better that time, and from the top side, Timmy O'Brien jumps into that early race lead. The 4 of Shane Pecor up to the top shelf as well. He settles into that second spot, and look at Danny O'Brien starting to come through the field already. He's gone from 5th to 3rd in 1 lap, and right now Brian McDonald trying to set him back 1 more spot, and he will do so as he swings down to the inside, picks up the number 3 spot from Danny O'Brien. He's head down the back straightaway, and Slim is not done there. He is alongside of Shane Pecor going up into turn number 3, and Pecor loses that runner-up spot to Brian McDonald, and Slim is on the charge here at lap number 2. The 88 of O'Brien is your race leader as the 151 of McDonald settles into that number 2 spot. It's Pecor up into 3rd. Danny O'Brien holds down 4th. Double or Grow rounding out the top 5 in the 71. As right now, Timmy O'Brien has the lead, but he's going to have some company here in the form of Brian McDonald. Brian, a former track champion here, the only driver to win a track championship other than Chris Raby in both sportsman and in 358 modified competition here at Mohawk as he settles into that second spot with O'Brien leading the way. Shane Pecor having a strong run at Warrior Racing number 4. Looks very strong here as he heads down into turns 3 and 4. Halfway sign is out. 5 in and 5 more to go for O'Brien. And Brian McDonald doing everything he can to run down Timmy O'Brien and grab the lead. There's a car length that separates the top 2 drivers, then a half straightaway back to Shane Pecor into third. Off of corner number 4 we go. We got a battle for the top spot going down into turns 1 and 2. O'Brien settling in on the bottom. McDonald trying to make a lane up on the top side. No such luck that time as he'll head down the back straightaway. Danny O'Brien looking to move up one spot as well as Danny lurks down on the inside. Shane Pecor gives him plenty of room on the bottom, but Pecor with a stronger run off the top side of turn number 4 with 3 laps to go. He'll hang on to that third spot with Robert Delorme has now come up through the field into 5th here. Delbert LeGros and Christian Smoke complete the rest of your field. Off of turn number 4 they go. Timmy O'Brien leads the way. 2 laps left to go. And I'll tell you what, Brian McDonald has got a strong piece out there. That 151 Westfoot construction machine lurking to try to get by Timmy O'Brien. Going into turns 3 and 4, O'Brien moves up a little bit higher on the racetrack. White flag is in the air. And Slim is right there with him, nose to tail as the leaders head into turns 3 and 4. And Pecor with a problem in the 4. It looks like he may have had a right rear tire go down. Checkered flag will fly, and heat number 1 of 3 tonight goes to Timmy O'Brien. Brian McDonald a close second, followed by brother Danny O'Brien in third. The 55X of Delorme will come home into 4th, and Delbert LeGros will be 5th. Christian Smoke completes your field. About tear your arms off if you hit it the wrong way, but we're ready to go here at Mohawk, heat number 2.
So Delorme will fire, and we got the green flag on the field, quickly jumping in that number 2 spot. The smoking gun, the 007 of Roy Tarbell. Out of 2 now. Tarbell will set his sights down to the backstretch of the 188 of David Papineau. The man on the move now is Tarbell, hopped from that number 3 starting spot up into the number 2 spot. Gaggle of cars behind him here is Plank looking to get around Delorme for that number 3 position. The twin leaf machine to the inside going out of 2. Delorme back onto the go fast pedal down to the backstretch. He'll maintain that number 3 spot. Papineau up front having a little bit of handling problems here as he'll come down on lap number 2, remains your race leader. 007 Roy Tarbell now rides in second, picks up that left front sneaker down to the backstretch. He'll fire, looking to reel in the 188 of Papineau. Tarbell going to try a different line, maybe a little higher here coming out of 4. Nope, not this time as the 188 Papineau will hang on to the race lead. Back in third position now, Delorme will be able to break away just a little bit. He gets a little too high, and here comes the Plankinator down to the backstretch. Sights set on that number 3 position in his twin leaf machine. To the inside, Plank coming out of 4. Nope, nothing there this time as the 22B of Delorme will hang on to that number 3 spot. Papineau all alone up front here. Tarbell going to wait and make his move, possibly to the high side, coming out of 4. Tarbell now drifts to the high side into 3, now to the bottom out of 4, firing down to the front stretch halfway home here as Papineau has led every single lap, started on the pole, broke away early, and maintains about a 5-car length lead over the smoking gun. The 007 in second now, looking to set his sights for that number 1 spot, trying to reel in Papineau here. Not going to be able to do so as Papineau is running a fantastic heat race here this evening. We've got 4 laps remaining. Now Tarbell, he's gained some real estate down to the backstretch. He'll go into turns 3 and 4. He's got Papineau. He's got him dialed in, got sights set on him here, but Delorme starting to make a race of it for the number 2 spot. Plank rides in 4th, rounding out your top 5, the 01 of Chris Raby. Delorme now gets a little to the high side coming out of turn number 3. Back onto the gas as Plank doing everything he can to hold off the 01 of Chris Raby. 188 of Papineau continues to lead. We've got 2 laps remaining. Tarbell now rides in second, looking for an opening here. Will Roy find it down to the backstretch? Not this time as the 188 breaks away clean and fast heading into turns 3. He's getting onto the binders coming into 3, dropping to the bottom, then going to the high side coming out of 4. Tarbell now, the 007. He's got the rear bumper of Papineau in his sights. To the bottom. Does the smoking gun have it? Nope, not this time. But back to the high side. Gets up and over the bumper. But this time he'll get around Papineau. Papineau seized up just a little bit on that one. Something let loose on that machine, and that bunched him up. And Plank will come around, I do believe, He may have grabbed
7, and rounding it out will be Tom Conklin aboard the number 29. Tommy struggled the last few weeks. Hopefully he's got things back and ready to go. We're back underway. Green flag flies. Into turns 1 and 2 they go. It's Francis and Lattiser 1 and 2. They might have traded a little bit of paint going into turn number 2 rather. And Lattiser gets the advantage going into turns 3 and 4 this time by. Up off of corner number 4 they go. And the 55 of Francis with the left front wheel flying in the air, trying to catch Laura Lattiser as they head down the back straightaway. Carrie Tarrant solidly into that third spot. Here comes Billy Dunn. That 23D is hooked up to the bottom of the speedway as Tarrant's able to hold him off going through turns 3 and 4 and down the front straightaway. Conklin has jumped up into the top 5 now as well, running in that number 5 spot in the 29 as Swamp and Arquette round out the rest of the field, and Laura Lattiser sending a torrid pace going off of corner number 4. He's already got about a half straightaway lead on Perry Francis as Billy Dunn has gotten around Carrie Tarrant from the number 3 spot, and Tarrant's holding down 4th as Tommy Conklin works in that 5th spot, and he quickly closes in on Carrie going down the backstretch with 4 laps up on the scoreboard now, and Lattiser in control of this one, followed by Francis in the 55. Then it is the 23D of Billy Dunn. The 66 of Tarrant's doing everything he can to hold off Conklin for the number 4 spot, and Tommy putting the heat on him going into turns 3 and 4 this time. Tarrant's looks a little loose coming up off the corner, and that 66 machine is a handful right now, and Conklin looking to take advantage of that as they head down the back straightaway. The 66 of Tarrant still holds on to 4th right now up to the front of the field. Laura Lattiser has pretty much solidified himself into that top spot. He has got a full straightaway lead now back to Perry Francis, who gets up out of shape off of turn number 2. Billy Dunn tried to close in, but the door was shut. Going into turns 3 and 4 one more time. Francis right there with Billy Dunn coming down the front straightaway. 7 laps are complete in this 10-lap heat event for the modifieds, and Laura Lattiser is making a statement right now as he has got a huge lead, says Austin Swamp, with 2 laps left to go. The 23 of Lattiser, the laser, heads down the back straightaway with the top spot, but the battle is right now between Perry Francis and Billy Dunn as they go at it for 2nd and 3rd. Conklin has wrestled that 4th spot away from Tarrant's going into turns 3 and 4. Tarrant's up out of the groove. That's going to allow Conklin to spurt away at the white flag lap. And Laura Lattiser from the opening green flag to the final lap off of corner number 4. He dominates heat number 3 for the modifieds and grabs the win. 2nd spot still up for grabs. It will go to Perry Francis by a half car length. Billy Dunn, Tom Conklin, and Carrie Tarrant, your top 5, as the 44 of Swamp with a flat on the right rear. He'll come home in 6. Harvey Arquette Jr. rounds out the field.
7 of Steve Polite. 42 will go away from the field as Daryl Nutting, along with the 03 here of B3 of Steve Billings. Now getting to the top side, it is the 10 of Josh Van Brocklin, quickly running up front in that machine out of the Watertown area. Very, very strong runner. Had a great run here last year. Absolutely dominated, opened up a can of Go Fast on the rest of the field for the Sportsman Tour race last year. As now he opens it up about a 10-car length lead down to the backstretch, taking a peek to the inside. The hot shoe of 18 of Louis Jackson Jr. Jenna David gets a little out of shape going into turn number 4, and that'll open the door for the 30 of Brent Kelsey. Kelsey now will settle in that number 3 position. Jenna David goes to the high side, potentially a push in her race machine here. She's doing everything she can to hang on to that number 4 spot. Josh Van Brocklin opened up an early race lead from the outside pole, and he has not looked back so far. He says, look, Ma, no hands, as he makes his way around the racetrack. And the number 2 spot, the 18 of Louis Jackson Jr. firing down to the backstretch, now in the number 2 spot. He's got Brent Kelsey looking to get him in much, much closer here as Kelsey gets a great run off the bottom going into 4, but he'll slip up just a little bit coming out of 4, and that'll allow Louis Jackson Jr. to maintain that number 2 spot. Riding in the 4th spot, it is number 2, Jenna David, hanging on here, as now the M70 of Billy Cook in the number 5 spot, looking for some bite on the bottom here. Come race time, feature time, this track will have 2, maybe 3 racing grooves at least. Josh Van Brocklin, all alone up front, the way he likes it, nothing but fresh clay in front of him. Dumbing out of 4 now. halfway through heat race number 1. 5 heats tonight for the sportsmen. As we mentioned, 39 sportsmen in the pit area tonight for this 35-lap event. Over 100 cars total in the pit area. Van Brockland to the high side now, coming out of 4. He's got one more lap remaining around this 3/8 clay racing surface, and he is absolutely broken away from the rest of the field here. As now the race for the number 2 spot. Louis Jackson Jr. to the top side. Here comes Brent Kelsey down to the backstretch. He'll take a peek to the bottom going into turn number 3. Louis Jackson, he'll go back to the bottom, hug that bottom racing groove, and he'll hang on to that number 2 spot. But coming away in a dominating fashion, the number 10 of Josh Van Brockland. Followed here by
Thomas Jock, the third, I should say. Mike Stacy in the 23, and opening day winner Brandon Hagen aboard the number 12. Green flag flies. We're back underway. And into 1 and 2 they go. It is the 44 of Ferguson holding down the top spot. The 1 of Jalbert holds down second. The 8 of Aikens. And the 53 of Jock doing a pretty good job holding on to the number 4 spot right now. As field heads down into corners 1 and 2. Ferguson and Jalbert at each other for the top spot as they head down the back straightaway. And Dan Jalbert is your new race leader as they head down into turns 3 and 4. Ferguson up to the top side going through turns 3 and 4 as he rides in that second spot with the 8 of Aikens holding down third. Doug O'Blennis holds down the number 4 spot at this time with Jock completing the top 5. A 12 of Hagen right there with him in 6th. And Hagen puts the power move down to the inside, goes up into 5th. Jason Durgan looking to move up as well with Mike Stacey completing the field in 8th. Off of corner number 4 we going down into 1 and 2. Jalbert continues to lead the way, and he has opened up quite a lead now on Dana Aikens, who has wrestled that number 2 spot away from Jonathan Ferguson going into turns 3 and 4 as Ferguson looks to get closer to the back bumper. Dana Aikens coming up off of corner number 4. And the man on the move right now is Brandon Hagen in the number 12. Points leader at Can-Am on Saturday nights. Running in the top 5 right now with Doug O'Blennis right there in front of him. Jason Durgan has moved up through this field nicely into 6th. Jock and the 23 of Stacy complete the rest of the field as they work it up off of corner number 4. And Hagen and O'Blennis having it out for the number 4 spot. They traded a little paint going down into turns 3 and 4. And Hagen moves up into 4th. O'Blennis falls to 5th. Meanwhile, up in front to the leaders, it is Dan Jalbert motoring away from the rest of the field here with 2 laps left to go. He is on cruise control. And Jason Durgan down to the inside of Doug O'Blennis, and O'Blennis losing quite a few spots here in the late going of this one as he rides in that 6th spot with the 53 of Jock and the 23 of Stacy completing the field once again off of corner number 4. White flag in the air for Dan Jalbert. The 8 of Aikens holds down second. Then it is the 44 of Ferguson rounding out the top 3 with Brandon Hagen into 4th. Jason Durgan rounds out the top 5 in the 17D off of turn number 4. Dan Jalbert is going to grab heat number 2 for the sportsmen. The 8 of Aikens holds down second. Ferguson into 3rd. Brandon Hagen will come home 4th. Jason Durgan rounds out the top 5 with Thomas Jock.
All 3 races, your name gets entered. You could win a brand new GM crate motor engine at Cornwall come September. On the start, it'll be Corey Wheeler in that giant tagger. He's looking for a giant victory here tonight. He'll break away from the rest of the field as Rick Miller has company to the outside, the 70 of Josh Brockway. Miller now quickly takes that number 2 spot away. The man on the move, Godard, looking to make a move here around Tammy Jalbert, but she won't give him any inch there, and she'll hang on to that number 4 spot. Riding in the number 5 position, it is the 27 of Gilles Godard. Godard down to the backstretch. He'll set his sights on the rear bumper of Tammy Jalbert. Going to take a peek to the top shelf here, maybe find the fast way around Jalbert. Jalbert says not this time, as she was a little bit more racetrack than Godard was hoping for. That'll open the bottom for Jessica Power. Power to the bottom now. Tammy Jalbert, she's got her hands full for that number 4 spot. Power to the bottom. She puts the power to the clay, no pun intended, going into turn 3. That'll open up for Godard. Godard now in hot pursuit here of the 52 of Jessica Power. Jessica Power, great run there, as she gets by Tammy Jalbert. 3 laps into this contest here tonight. Heat race number 3 for the dirt car sportsman. Corey Wheeler and that 47 machine having a giant run here in that giant tagger machine. He rides that number 1 spot as now Rick Miller gets a little loose going into 2, slips to the top side, dancing with a double as he fires down to the backstretch. Now Jessica Power, she's on the move. She looks to the inside of the 70B of Josh Brockway. She's on behind accounting Rhodes Accounting Machine now as Power will fire to the inside. Looking for a little bit of opening here. Can she find it? Coming down to 2. Down to the backstretch, she'll fire. Yes, sir. She's got that number 3 spot away from the 70B of Rhodes Accounting Machine, Josh Brockway. Power overtakes Brockway coming out of 4. Able to break away clean here as 6 laps in, 2 laps remaining distance here for the heat race number 3. Corey Wheeler, he is dialed in, folks. He comes out of turn number 4. 1 lap remaining for Corey Wheeler in that 47 machine. Corey Wheeler looking very strong here tonight. As we'll see Gilles Godard take it pit side. Not a good start for him tonight in this heat race number 3. The man on the move, the 47 of Corey Wheeler. He'll drift a little high side coming out of turn number 4, but it'll be Corey Wheeler, followed by the 3M of Rick Miller. Nice run for him. Jessica Power, she made up quite a few spots. Josh Brockway, the number 4 position, rounding out your top 5.
At Brockville. So we're set and ready to go. Heat number 4 of 5 off of corner number 4. And, well, we're not going to go as Ryan Robertson stacked the field up in turn number 4. So that will bring the green out just for a moment. And
we gotta wonder if maybe that car hopped out of gear and didn't quite get it back in there. We are green. Sorry.
And we are staying under green. I thought Austin was going to throw the caution flag, but in any event, Chris Herbison, Dylan Evoy, we see this battle each and every week at Brockville on Saturday nights, and Herbie out in front of the field as they head off of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. Remember, Chris Herbison picked up his first ever modified feature win here at Mohawk back in 2000. Beat a guy in the name of Frank Cozy to do it, and right now he heads down the back straightaway with a comfortable lead on Dylan Evoy, who, as we mentioned earlier, has been unbeatable here with 6 feature wins this season. He is well on his way to a second straight track championship as he heads off into turns 1 and 2 with that second spot. Thunder Anderson Jr. and Thomas Cook go at it. Pair of youngsters out there, 3rd and 4th. Ryan Robertson completes the top 5 in the 26. Off of corner number 4 we go. Halfway sign is out already. 4 in and 4 more to go. And Chris Herbison waiting for nobody. Herbie with a few wins here in the sportsman ranks as well. And Dylan Evoy wants to jump up there and grab that lead away as Herbison works it up off of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway in a whole lot of hurry. He's got about 4 car lengths on Dylan Evoy as your points leader works through corners 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Remember, just series points only tonight for the sportsman. No track points are on the line, so Evoy can just kind of let it all hang out here tonight if he wants to. Thomas Cook holds down the number 3 spot with the 29 of Anderson, who gets way out of shape in turn number 4, allows Ryan Robertson to close the gap coming down the front straightaway. Wyatt Mullen, Sheldon Hugworth in that order as they work down through turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Thomas Cook has opened up quite a distance on Thunder Anderson at the white flag lap for the number 3 spot here, as meanwhile up in front Chris Herbison is dialed in that 63 machine. The King Edward Auto Parts ride works into corners 3 and 4 as the Stewart family has that machine dialed in off of corner number 4, and Herbison will win heat number 4. Evoy will come home in second, followed by the 35 of Cook. A nice drive for him. He'll come home into that 3rd spot with Wyatt Mullen. Thunder Anderson Jr. completes the top 5. Ryan Robertson.
Corey Winters, yes, sir. As Winters will fire. Patrick Kumashell and the number 2 EZ of Mike Arkwit making up that number 3 spot. Arkwit now to the top side. In hot pursuit here of the 17 machine of Corey Winters. Back to the inside, Lala Michelle will maintain that number 3 spot. Mike Arkwit finds a little bit of bite on the top side of the racing surface, but that'll open up the door for the 92 of Martin Pelchier. He had a strong run at Brockville back on May 19th and is looking to continue his points here for the St. Lawrence Seaway Sportsman Series race. Now to the inside, we'll go the 92 of Pelchier. Something amiss here on the 2 EZ of Mike Arkwit. As looking to the inside of him, it will be the number Ryan Arthmanot will get that number 5 spot away from Mike Arkwit. Arkwit now drifts to the top side, but Adam Rosen having fun here up all by himself, leading this heat race number 5, followed by Corey Winters, along with the 92 machine of Martin Pelchier. Martin Pelchier, top 3 here. I believe this is his first ever trip to Mohawk International Raceway. Now to the top side, down to the front stretch. It'll be the 3 of Adam Rosen. We are halfway home here for the Sportsman Heat Race number 5. As very quickly, Adam Rozon picking up first career win here at Mohawk International Raceway just a couple of weeks ago, followed here by the 17 machine of Corey Winters, along with Pelche. You got to wonder, is Pelche looking to gain a few spots here, or is he going to settle in that number 3 spot and have a pretty good starting spot up front come feature time? Adam Rozon, he's on cruise control here. Fast as smooth, smooth as fast, coming out of turn 4. We've got 2 more laps remaining here for Heat Race number 5 of the St. Lawrence Seaway Sportsman Series race on Wild Country 96.5 at the Mohawk International Raceway. Glad the fine folks from Wild Country are joining us here tonight. 1 lap remaining on the field now for Heat Race number 5. Adam Rozon likes what he sees in front of him. He sees nothing but empty real estate. He sees some nice, fast, smooth clay in front of him as he takes it down into turn number 3. Followed by Corey Winters, the 92 of Pelche. Will make up your top 3. Coming out of turn number 4, it will be Adam Rozon picking up the win here, Tim. Followed by
30 of Regine Lemieux. Row number 3, Scotty Waldorf in the 60 with the 14 of Dean Pronovost. And rounding it out will be the number 88 of Matthew Robinson. Green flag is in the air, and we're off and running. Down into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. It will be the one of Brian Green. And as you remember, the Mod Light Series was here a few weeks back, and he was virtually dominant in that series race, and much like he was at Brockville as well in this same ride, as they will be headed to Brockville tomorrow night, along with a full card of racing for the modified Sportsman Street Stocks and Rookies on Napa Auto Parts night. So it's going to be a great night of racing. We'll get into that a little later on as Brian Green works it up off of corner number 4 with the top spot. The 12 of Beaujette holding down spot number 2. The 30 of Lemieux has his hands full with Scotty Waldorf, who has a feature win this year, as does Dean Pronovost in the 14. And Waldorf dips it down low. He picks off the number 3 spot from Lemieux. And the 14 of Pronovost looking to make his way forward with Matthew Robinson right there with him in the number 6 spot. Then it's Harley Brown rounding out the rest of your field. But Brian Green is the man of the hour right now as he sets sail down the back straightaway with a huge lead, about a half straightaway right now on the 12 of Beaujette. The 60 of Waldorf all by himself in spot number 3. Then that battle for 4th is a good one between Pronovost, Lemieux, and Robinson. And Lemieux gets shuffled out of line. It's going to open the door for Pronovost to get on by as the 88 of Robinson looks to move farther forward. He's up in a 5th right now, but he's on the charge and trying to get by Dean Pronovost for the number 4 spot going down into turn number 3. But right now, off of corner number 4, Brian Green continues to motor away from the rest of the field here. 5 laps into this 8-lap heat event for the TUSA 97.3 CKON Mod Light Series. And right now, Green leads the way, followed by Beaujette and Scotty Waldorf, who is starting to close the gap a little bit here on Beaujette for the number 2 spot. And just behind them, Matthew Robinson starting to make his way towards the front as well. He picks off the number 4 spot from Pronovost with 2 laps left to go. And Robinson will jump up into that 4 spot with Pronovost completing the top 5. Lemieux and Brown complete the rest of the field. Off of corner number 4, white flag is being displayed for Brian Green. And that Gillies Auto Truck and Marine Napa Auto Parts number 1 settling into the top spot down the back straightaway. He's got a full straightaway lead on Jim Beaujette and Scotty Waldorf as they hit the back straightaway for the final time. Checkered flag will be out, and Brian Green will handily win heat number 1 for the Mod Lights. As the battle for second rages on, Beaujette will come home the runner-up. Scotty Waldorf into 3rd. Robinson, Pronovost, that will be your top 5. Lemieux into...
There is the 08 of... So it'll be Reef on the restart. The 2 of Matthew Shantosh is back into the mix now. They are single file on that bottom groove. Dan Reef, he's happy with what he's got going on here so far. The 42 machine of La Montagne rides in that number 2 spot coming out of 4. Reef, he's off to a great start here. To the outside will go the 21G of Scott Muir. He knows his way around this racetrack. Raced every single class we've had here at the Mohawk International Raceway. To the outside, here comes Sylvain Laframboy. Rudely interrupted there by Scott Muir on that momentum. Scott Muir now back to the inside. Muir giving chase to that number 2 spot. Looking to reel in the 48 machine of Montagne. Back to the top side. Muir, will he bring company in the way of Sylvain Laframboy here? Not this time. Laframboy going to ride back just a little bit as Dan Reef setting a torrid pace on this field. The race for the number 2 spot is the one to watch. Here comes Laframboy out of turn number 4. Looking to gain past Scott Muir. Scott Muir back to the inside. Will Laframboy do what I think he's going to do? He's looking to split the difference as Reef slips up just a little bit, coming out of 2, and he'll lose 3 spots, settle back into that number 4 spot. Lamontagne back now as your race leader, followed by Laframboy and the 21G of Scott Muir. Scott Muir. And that number 3 spot, another strong run here for Scott Muir. And Laframboy takes a peek to the inside, down to the backstretch. 4 laps in, 4 laps remaining for this third and final heat of the TUSA Mod Light Series, a qualifying event for them. The winner of this race tonight gets an automatic spot to Florida. And if you win, you need any passengers, by all means, come contact Tim and I. We'd love to go and help you out. Montagne now, as Laframboy will take a peek to the inside, going down turn number 2, down to the backstretch, going into 3. It is Laframboy to the outside, as now Laframboy lets off the gas just a little bit. Scott Muir sees an opening. He fires hard coming out of 4. We've got 2 laps remaining here. Scott Muir putting on a great show here tonight for him. Glad to see Scott doing well as he rejoins the field here back at Mohawk. Scott Muir in that number 3 spot. Going to look to pick off and get by Laframboy for that number 2 spot. Not sure if that's going to work as Laframboy lets off the gas just a little bit. 1 lap remaining here for Lamagne. Correction, that is Raphael Furlan. Raphael Furlan in that number 1 spot. Furlan to the outside. Laframboy to the inside. Furlan not going to give up much as now the yellow flag as we've got the 151 of Bailey McDonald spun to for all these years I've been coming to all these different racetracks. If she was the young girl that was always by Slim's side at each and every week, it should come as no surprise as now they restart. It is Furlan in the 48 machine, Laframboy in that number 2 spot. As now the 21G of Scott Muir rides in 3rd. So it is Furlan and Laframboy. 1 lap shootout down to the backstretch. They'll go. Furlan to the outside. Laframboy takes a peek down low. Does he have enough room and enough bite to get by on the inside here of Furlan? Furlan, he's going to maintain his racing groove, come around and collect the checkers away from Laframboy. As well.
Sportsman and modified hot laps. Green flag flies. We are underway. And the 03 of Dan Reef did not get going on that restart, and that leaves the 42 of Lamontagne out in front. And last week's winner, Paul Klager, in the number 1. He's starting to take a liking to this speedway as he jumps down to the inside, and Klager gets ahead of Lamontagne up off of corner number 4. And the 39 of Curving holding down the number 3 spot with May up into 4th. Reef rounds out the top 5. Dave Bell completes it in 6th, but up off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway. Paul Klager is on a mission in that number 1 machine. The 1K works it up off of turn number 4 with the top spot, but that battle for second rages on between Lamontagne, May, and the 39 of Curving as they battle for second through 4th. The battle for 5th between Reef and Dave Bell is a good one as well. Down the back straightaway they go. Paul Klager's in another zip code. He is checked out from the rest of the field, but that battle for second rages on going through turns 3 and 4. The 42 of Lamontagne trying to hold Jeff May and the 39 of Curving for the number 2 spot, and he's doing a pretty good job of it so far, working down the back straightaway. Here comes May with a look down low off of turn number 2. Couldn't get the job done that time, though. He'll settle into that 3rd spot. Curving is 4th. Reef and Bell complete the rest of the field. Halfway sign is out already, and Paul Klager is on a mission after last week's feature win. He was dominant right towards the end until the caution flag came out, which tightened the field up on the final lap. But he was able to hold Brian Green at bay to grab his first ever Mohawk feature win, and he's in a bid for his second here tonight. Coming around, 3 laps left to go for Klager. That battle for second has been a good one all race long with Lamontagne, May, and Curving in that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place order as they head down the back straightaway. Dan Reef and Dave Bell complete the rest of the field in 5th and 6th, but off of corner number 4, Paul Klager dominant once again. Huge lead out there for the 1K as he brings it down in front with a full straightaway lead. Second still up for grabs, though, as Lamontagne and the 23 of May still at it for the number 2 spot as Dan Curving in the 39 has fallen off the pace just a little bit. About 3 car lengths behind that. Battle for second. Off of corner number 4, white flag is being displayed for Klager, and Klager has dominated this race right from the opening green flag, and Lamontagne has done everything in the books to hold off the 23 of Jeff May for the number 2 spot as they head down the back straightaway, although Lamontagne slips up off of turn number 2 a little bit. Checkered flag is out, and Clagger will win it handily out there. Battle for second still going on, though, and Lamontagne will grab the number 2 spot with Jeff May, Dan Curving third and fourth, I should say. Dan Reef in the 03 comes along to grab 5th with Dave Bell completing the field in 6th. So,
as now Castell looking to take him away, get that green flag, 12 laps the distance for the CKON Bandits. We've got green flag on the racing surface. It is go, go, go time. Castell wasting no time, but now coming to the outside, the 37 of Daryl Mitchell. He makes his move coming out of 2. Fires down to the backstretch. Stuart Musa looking to be the meat and that sandwich as they take into turn number 3. Oban in hot pursuit here, as now Daryl Mitchell going to be pushed up to the top side of the racing groove. That'll open it for Stuart Musa. Matthew Oban rides in 3rd. Corey Castell firing away, leading the lap number 1. Now Stuart Musa dives to the bottom, coming out of 2, down to the backstretch. Not enough power and momentum that time to get by the 28 machine of Corey Castell. Castell now drives her in hard into 3. That'll push him up the racing surface, coming out of 4. Stuart Musa now side by side of the 28 machine of Corey Castell. Stuart Musa rides in the number 2 spot. Matthew Oban in the number 3 spot. They touch rear and front bumpers coming out of 2. Jean-Marc LaRose rides in the number 4 spot. The top 5 is Daryl Mitchell coming out of 4. Corey Castell continues to lead. Matthew Oban rides in that number 2 position. Now Oban being pursued here by Stuart Musa. He pushes a little too hard coming into turn number 1, as now LaRose will pull up alongside the 101 of Stuart Musa. Castell, he's looking fast tonight. Oban going to peek to the bottom. Here comes Stuart Musa in hot pursuit. He's looking to get back into victory lane. Daryl Mitchell will slow, coming out of 4, and most likely that'll bring out a green flag as Oban makes his move, but Castell will maintain the racing lead as we will go back to the last lap completed here, as now
to watch here in this feature event.
As we've got green racing flag back onto the field here. Not sure if the starter's going to like that one. Shakes his head. Austin giving him some advice, as now hopping into that number 1 spot it is Castell. 3 wide down to the backstretch. Musa taking a peek to the bottom, but Oban to the top side. That's where he's trying to make some momentum coming out of 4. Castell will drift up just a little bit coming into turn number 4. He'll hang on to that number 1 spot. 5 laps in, 7 laps remaining distance here for the CKON Bandit class feature tonight. Castell, the number 1 spot. Stuart Musa, number 2. But now pulling up alongside the 101 is the 89 of Matthew Oban. Oban, he's bound and determined to make that top side work. Musa says, well, is it working for you? Let's see what it does for me. They are 3 wide going into turn number 1. Musa to the bottom side. Looking to push up on Castell just a little bit. Force him to open up that bottom groove. But Matthew Oban, he's got something to say as they go 3 wide into turn number 3. Oban to the top side. Musa now to the top side as well as he gets into the bumper. And Musa hits a powdered donut, goes down to the front stretch, through a car wash and back through the flag stand, and maintains the number 4 spot. As Zyra will slip by Stuart Musa for that number 3 spot. Now it is Oban to the inside. We've got yellow flag on the field. And Tim, they brought out a little extra moisture that AJ had not anticipated.
Be sure to get a couple of great photos of your favorite driver.
So we got 5 laps remaining here as Castell fires away for that green flag. The 003 LaRose takes a peek to the top side as Oban in the number 2 spot. In hot pursuit here, we've got 3 cars racing for that number 1 spot. To the inside, Oban, he's going to stick a fender in there going to turn 3, but Castell able to break away, pushes up just a little bit going into 4. Now he's opened the door for the 89, last week's winner, Matthew Oban. Oban now in the number 1 spot. Castell, the old dip and dive mood, going back into turn number 1 and 2. Not going to work this time as Oban able to break away. Now, the 28 of Castell. He's got company the 003 of Jean-Marc LaRose. LaRose, first time here at Mohawk, looking to have an outstanding finish. So far, so good for him as he rides that number 2 spot. Gets into the back of the 28 of Castell just a little bit, but he'll back off that gas and let him straighten himself back out. LaRose now with a full head of steam going down to the backstretch. Takes a peek to the inside. Castell slams that door shut as Oban starting to open up that racing lead just a little bit, as LaRose will take a peek to the inside and get that number 2 spot away. 2 laps remaining. Is that enough distance, or is that enough time for LaRose to run down race leader Matthew Oban? We'll have to wait and see. He'll have to push it awfully hard into the corners and gain even more on the straightaways. Out of 4, Oban leads. 1 lap remaining, 4 turns of the steering wheel for last week's winner of Matthew Oban. Oban now out of 2. He'll fire down to the backstretch, being pursued by LaRose. The 28 of Castell, the 37 of Darrell Mitchell, and the 101 of Stuart Musa. Oban now coming out of 4. He looks to make it 2 for 2 at the Mohawk International Raceway, and he'll do that. And the 003 will come in second. The 28 of Corey Castell in third. Darrell Mitchell in fourth. And the 101 of Stuart Musa finishes in the top 5. So, Tim, fantastic racing here.
Down. 4th win of the year for Matthew Oban. Interesting deal at the border crossing. And I could see some smiles on some of their faces down there. We actually saw them helping out a top 5. We'll go to the big show. Off of corner number 4 we go. Green flag will fly. And are off and running up into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. It is Darrell Nutting, your race leader. Jock got a little bit out of shape, and Matthew Desjardins clips a tire in turn number 2, nearly goes over, and the front end is gone on the 1M over in turn number 2. Will join the card as well. Race time as always, 7:45 p.m. And the voice of the World of Outlaw Sprints, Johnny Gibson, will be on hand with us over there, along with Brian Mulligan, myself, and Huey Primo at 7 o'clock at Cornwall, as a ton of freebies coming on here from Wild Country 96.5 and Hits FM at 94.7 FM. As the field works up off of corner number 4, Thomas Jock III is your race leader here. So they head off into turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. The 53 of Jock has the lead. The 42 of Darrell Nutting holds down spot number 2. The 26 of Robertson holds down 3rd. Slipped up a little bit in the corner, and that's going to allow for Patrick Dumichel to slip on by with Steve Billings in the number 4 spot in the B3. And Billings not afraid to dive down low and pick off that 4th spot, as Robertson in danger of losing that 5th and final transfer spot at this time. Off of corner number 4 they go, and Robertson pushes up the track once again. That's going to allow for Nolan Swamp to get up there. Now Doug O'Blennis sees daylight. He tries to get on by the 26 of Robertson and does so. So Doug O'Blennis starting to move forward in the 32. Regular runner at the Brockville Speedway. Meanwhile, back up front to the lead, it is Thomas Jock III, your race leader. Is Kenny Polite with a problem on the backstretch in the number 7, as he is slowed to almost a stop down there just at the midpoint of the backstretch, and the yellow flag will come out here. Incentive right there for your favorite charity. So great night on tap for Brockville. Going to be honoring some great drivers and patrons as well. 5 laps complete. Green flag is back out. Ricky Thompson jumps up into that top spot. Darrell Nutting looking to go the long way around in the 42. Holds down the number 2 spot with Patrick Dumichel riding back there 3rd. Nolan Swamp is on the charge as he jumps by the B3 of Steve Billings. And the 26 of Ryan Robertson just about collected a couple of tires down here in the front stretch, but he straightens it back out as they're running hard for the number 5 spot. Doug O'Blennis wants to get by in the worst way. He's alongside of Billings down the back straightaway, and Doug O'Blennis in that 32 jumps down low, picks off the number 5 spot at this time. Remember, top 5 go to the big show. The rest are going to be sitting in the grandstands watching this one as the field heads down the back straightaway. Ricky Thompson, his maiden voyage in a Sportsman car, riding up into the number 1 spot with the 42 of Darrell Nutting right there behind him in 2nd. Patrick Dumichel pushes up the track just a little bit. That's going to allow for Nolan Swamp to close the gap. 4 laps left to go in this one, and the battle for the 5th and final transfer spot is on. Doug O'Blennis has it. Steve Billings wants to get by in the worst way. Down the back straightaway they go. Coming around this time, 3 laps left to go. 3 more remain for Ricky Thompson. The 42 of Nutting holds down 2nd. Battle for 5th rages on into turn number 1. Steve Billings with the low line. Doug O'Blennis trying to hold him off. Slips up off of turn number 2, and Steve Billings, the new 5th place driver at this time. Top 5 go to the big show. Ricky Thompson solidly into the top spot with 2 laps to go. Darrell Nutting holds down 2nd with with the 3 of Dumichel. Rounding out your top 3 and the 1 of Nolan Swamp along with Steve Billings. They are in transfer spots at this time. Off of corner number 4, white flag being displayed for Ricky Thompson as he sets sail down in front with about 7 car lengths on Daryl Nutting, who rides in that second spot. The 3 of Dumichel holds down third with Nolan Swamp up into 4th. Steve Billings has got a couple of car lengths on Doug O'Blennis for the 5th spot. Off of corner number 4, Ricky Thompson will come around to grab the win in the Sportsman Consi. He will go to the big show. Daryl Nutting, Patrick Dumichel, Nolan Swamp, and Steve Billings holds off Doug O'Blennis for the 5th and final transfer spot
at the Mohawk International Raceway. Van Brocklin will fire. He's got the green flag, followed here by Jalbert and Wheeler. Chris Herbison rides along in that number 4 spot. Jalbert goes to the top side, coming out at 2. Fires down to the backstretch. Van Brocklin going to keep his machine to the bottom, going into turn number 3. Now some company for Louis Jackson as he gets up on the rear bumper of the 63 machine of Chris Herbison. Herbison wheels alongside the 47 machine, the giant tagger of Corey Wheeler. Down the backstretch, still fire. It is Van Brocklin. He led lap number 1. Dan Jalbert, the KG veteran out of Cornwall, going to pick his spots here. Goes to the top side, looking for an opening. Corey Wheeler found one down on the bottom, going into turn number 1. He battles alongside the number 1 of Dan Jalbert for that number 2 spot. Jalbert able to break away just a little bit onto the backstretch. So far, so good, as we've got cars slowing, and I believe that is the 70B of Josh Wheeler. It'll be Van Brocklin and Wheeler to fire away from the front row. Van Brocklin sees the green flag, and he goes. Dan Jalbert rides in the number 3 spot. Wheeler in the number 2 spot. To the top side, here comes Chris Herbison, looking to split the sandwich down the backstretch, and he does exactly that. He hops up into that number 3 spot. Slips by the number 1 of Dan Jalbert. Gets on the rear bumper a little bit of Corey Wheeler, but now here comes Dylan Evoy. Evoy cracks his way into the top 5. Van Brocklin breaks away out at 2. The battle is for the number 3 spot. It is Herbison on the outside, Dan Jalbert on the inside. Lap number 4 about to be completed here as we had a car off the backstretch, regains the field. Lap number 5 goes to you, Tim.
And Josh Van Brocklin is your race leader. Corey Wheeler working the top side. Here comes Herbison in a bid for 3rd as Jalbert got a little out of shape in corner number 2, and that's going to allow Herbison to dive down low. Dylan Evoy looking to make his way towards the front of the field as well as he rides in that 3rd spot, or 4th spot rather. And one driver I've been watching make moves through the field, and that is Jenna David in the number 2. She is cutting through this field very quickly now as we got a battle royale going on for the number 2 spot. Corey Wheeler got out of shape. That allowed Herbison and Jalbert to get on by as Evoy tries to make some room to go forward as well, but all is happening behind Josh Van Brocklin. And as I made that mention about Jenna David, she is all the way up into the top 10, and Jalbert with a problem in the number 1, and he has slowed it to a stop. Hopefully everybody can miss him. And everybody gets by. Fire from the bottom. Then it's Dylan Evoy, Louis Jackson Jr., and Corey Wheeler. That's your top 5. We're back underway. Flag flies. Down into 1 and 2 they go, and Van Brocklin with that edge on the top shelf. He'll go up to the number 1 spot. Herbison follows suit as the field works down the back straightaway in a whole lot of hurry. Here comes defending track champion Dylan Evoy. Evoy races down to the inside, picks off the number 2 spot from Herbison. Heading down into turns 1 and 2, it is Van Brocklin, Evoy, and Chris Herbison in that top 3 order as they race nose to tail down the backstretch. Rick Miller out of shape on the backstretch as well, and that's going to allow Jason Durgan and Ricky Thompson to get on by as Durgan moves up a spot and Ricky Thompson flying through this field as well, trying to get around the top side of Rick Miller into turns 1 and 2, and he grabs the number 10 spot. Corey Wheeler pushes up on his shape off of turn number 2, and Louis Jackson Jr. is going to take advantage of that move. Down into turns 3 and 4 they go, and Jackson will move up into that position as he rides in spot number 4. Meanwhile, battle into the number 2 spot with the 83 of Dylan Evoy, and Brian, it's a battle royale from there on back.
Van Brocklin has opened up a commanding lead here. Evoy and Herbison, nothing better for Van Brocklin to watch those 2 hot shoes battle it out for that number 2 spot. Riding in 3rd now, it is Herbison, followed by Dana Aiken and the 17 machine of Corey Winters riding in that number 17 machine. Josh Van Brockland, watch him, folks. He is hitting the same mark lap after lap in that number 10 machine. Lap number 13, slowing down the backstretch. The M70 of Billy Cook. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it pit side. No, he will not, as they're going to look to fire coming out of turn 4. It'll be Van Brockland on the top. Here comes Evoy. He's got company with Herbertson. Louis Jackson Jr. says, I'll take a peek and see what's going on up front. Gaggle of cars, and you said Battle Royale in behind them. Van Brockland fires away clean. Evoy back to the bottom side, but here comes Herbertson on that top side. Can he make it work for that number 63 King Edwards machine? We'll have to wait and see. And lap number 14 now. Van Brockland looking very fast, very smooth here coming out of turn number 2. Fires down to the backstretch in the turns number 3 and 4. He's got Evoy in hot pursuit. Evoy to the bottom as they come around on lap number 15. At the line, it'll be Van Brockland.
And Van Brockland continues to lead the way, but Dylan Evoy is not going to back down from him. Trying the bottom side. Here comes Herbertson up into that number 3 spot. As we got Steve Billings slowing down here in turn number 1. He has got a right rear flat on that ride. Off of corner number 4 they go. And still Van Brockland continues to lead the way into turns 1 and 2. It's Evoy and Herbertson second and third, followed by Louis Jackson Jr. in the number 18. Good battle going on for the number 5 spot as Corey Winters in the 17. The 30 of Brent Kelsey go at it. Jenna David and Martin Peltier at each other once again for 7th and 8th. Peltier down on the bottom, David on the top side, and Peltier will go up into that position as well. Meanwhile, back up in front to the leaders, Josh Van Brockland looking to open up the lead a little bit. He has over 2 car lengths now separate the top 2 drivers as Herbertson lurking back there in that 3rd spot. Don't count him out just yet. We've got 18 laps complete in this one, and from about 10th on back, it is a wholesale scramble from those positions on back to the back of the field. They're really racing hard out there with 19 laps coming up on the board this time by Van Brockland, a little loose off the corner. That's going to allow Evoy to close in, coming around into turns 1 and 2. Van Brockland on the top side, Evoy down low. Chris Herbertson is right there with them, though, as they head down the back straightaway up into turns 3 and 4. 20 laps are complete. We're halfway home, and Evoy and Van Brockland still going at it.
You got to wonder, is the veteran Chris Herbertson riding in third, looking for his spot as Van Brockland will power away down to the backstretch into turn 3. He'll go. Evoy, he'll take his machine back to the bottom side. What a fantastic race. Evoy comes around at the flag stand. He'll lead lap number 20 here as 21. Lap number 21 is where we are at now. Evoy back to the top side. Van Brockland, he gave up the lead on the bottom, but now we got cars getting together as Arthronaut and Polite come together on the front stretch, but no harm, no foul there. Here comes Chris Herbertson. He's looking to make a race of it for the number 2 spot. 22 laps are in. Van Brockland on the bottom side. Things starting to coming out of turn 2. Here comes Chris Herbertson with a full head of steam coming into turns number 3. Lap traffic going to be an issue. First victim will be the 70B of Josh Brockway. Brockway will go to the top side. He'll make room for the 83 machine. Dylan Evoy, he's looking to run away and hide here, and the only way you're going to find him in this gaggle of cars is with a GPS. We got a car sideways coming out of turn 4. Boy, Dylan Evoy's got to be careful as he'll dance through lap traffic on lap number 24. We've got 16 laps remaining in this 40-lap event. Dylan Evoy now going to be very careful as he picks a spot. We got Billings getting sideways, rather. That is the number Patrick Dumichel gets sideways. Dylan Evoy, lap number 25, continues to lead.
And he is picking his way through some quality lap cars. He has gotten around Billy Cook in the M70, and that's going to allow for Van Brockland and Herbertson to close the gap as they work their way down into turns 3 and 4. Meanwhile, just behind them, the battle for 4th has been a great one all race long, with the 18 of Louis Jackson Jr., the 30 of Brent Kelsey going at it for 4th and 5th. Back up in front to the leaders, and Dylan Evoy really working hard, trying to get by Dana Aikens and put him a lap down as Thunder Anderson Jr. is slowed down here on the front stretch, but he'll keep it going. And meanwhile, off of corner number 4, Evoy has gotten around Ryan Arbuthnot to put him a lap down, and he slides by Dana Aikens in the process. So Aikens, a strong car, going a lap down. Meanwhile, change for second, possibly down the back straightaway as Herbertson is lurking back there in that 3rd spot. waiting for any kind of an opening here as they work it up off of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. 28 laps are up on the scoreboard, and Dylan Evoy is the man of the hour as they work down the back straightaway in a whole lot of hurry. And Thomas Cook gets his lap back as he drives by Evoy down into turns 3 and 4. Top 3 are going to be nose to tail coming up off the corner with 28 laps up on the scoreboard as they all work through heavy lap traffic. Thunder Anderson Jr. pushes up the track in turn number 2. Here comes Evoy. He'll try to split the difference between him and Thomas Cook. Evoy running away and trying to hide in lap traffic. We got 30 laps up on the scoreboard this time by.
As now Thomas Cook collects a tire coming out of 4, almost flips it over. We got Miller and Billy Cook into the wall down on the front stretch. That'll bring out the yellow flag as running out of real estate was the third.
Off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway they go. Dylan Evoy still holds the lead. Louis Jackson Jr. just about got out of shape off of corner number 2, but he straightens it out and will stay under green here as the field works down in front. And Evoy continues to lead the way. Van Brocklin's now feeling some pressure in the form of Chris Herbison as they head down the back straightaway in a whole lot of hurry. With Evoy, your race leader, Van Brocklin looking to use the top side to his advantage, then diamond the corner off on the bottom. Couldn't get the job done that time. Brent Kelsey having a very good run up into that 4th spot, and field scattering all over the place towards the back of the pack, but up in front, Evoy waiting for nobody. Evoy's won the last 3 in a row here, looking for his 4th straight win and his 6th win in 7 tries. Not too awfully bad, but right now Josh Van Brocklin and Chris Herbison are going to have something to say about it before the night's over with. Meanwhile, Brent Kelsey and Louis Jackson Jr. having great runs out there, running in 4th and 5th. Off of corner number 4 they go. Evoy, Van Brocklin, and Herbison each separated by about 4 car lengths apiece, and we got Dana Aikens slow on the backstretch off of turn number 2, and he is still running, so we will stay under green, and yellow flag is tucked in for now, and Dana may possibly be able to make it to the pit area in that number 8. 35 laps complete, Brian.
35 laps in the books, 5 laps remaining for the young hot shoe. Dylan leads the convoy, Evoy, as he heads into turns number 3 and 4. To the top side he'll go. Followed here by Van Brocklin and Chris Herbison. Thomas Cook going to stick it to the bottom and let the leaders go by. 4 laps remaining here for Dylan Evoy. Can he hold off Van Brocklin and Herbison? The track is starting to slick up a little bit. 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. Evoy now back to the bottom. We've got 36 laps in the book. We're on lap number 37. Van Brocklin here trying to reel in Dylan Evoy. Evoy to the top side coming out of 2. Down to the backstretch he'll fire. He'll take his machine. He's got a car. Jenna David slowing on the front stretch, and that'll regroup the cars here. Not what Dylan Evoy complete. 37 laps in the book. Now on the restart, it'll be Evoy looking for that green go flag. He's got it. We've got 3 laps remaining here. Lap number 37, 40 laps of distance. Here comes Van Brocklin on the bottom. Van Brocklin out of 2. He fires his machine down to the bottom side. Evoy holding on to that lead by a small margin. Here comes Herbison to the top side, but Van Brocklin will drift up the track a little bit and break that momentum of the 63 machine. 2 laps remaining for Dylan leads the convoy. Evoy to the bottom now. Here comes Van Brocklin as we've got a car spinning, the 18 of Louis Jackson Jr. That'll bring out a yellow flag. We'll have a white. We'll have a green, white, and checkered flag. Green and white flag at the same time. Evoy fires off the bottom coming out of turn 4. Van Brocklin, Herbison now pedaling just as fast as they can go. 1 lap remaining here for Dylan Evoy. Evoy to the top side. Here comes Van Brocklin on the bottom, down to the backstretch. He'll slip back up into the top side. Checkered flags coming out for Evoy. Slows it up just a little bit. Here comes Van Brocklin on the inside. Clips a tire, but it is Dylan Evoy. Dylan Evoy leads the convoy to victory lane tonight, holding off Chris Herbison along with the number 10 machine.
This year out of the car for the 7th time and 4th in a row. How about it for Dylan Evoy? on a mission for his second straight track championship as well. And we're talking just in the cockpit of that race car, man. I'll tell you what, that car tightened up big time on you these last few caution laps, didn't it?
Yeah, you know, the top started coming in at the end there in 1 and 2, and I wanted to run there. I knew I'd have a good chance and keep holding Van Brocklin off. I had a good corner there, but I got down into 3, and it was starting to get no-shovey at the end. And, you know, I just got it in a push, and it was hard to get out of it there. I had to get on the brakes and set the nose again, and then I could feel him there. He was right there. So, you know, I just made sure I stayed on the bottom and sort of hold him off sort of deal.
7th win of the season, Dylan. Last week you tied the all-time record, and with this win tonight, buddy, you are the all-time sportsman win leader here at Mohawk.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. You know, there's a lot of good drivers that ran here, so it definitely feels good.
Absolutely. Now I know you got a bunch of people to thank, too, for this big win.
I definitely got to thank all my sponsors, my dad, my mom, my Uncle Jeff, my Uncle Gil, my grandma and grandpa, Micah Kersey. I couldn't do without all those guys.
Napa Auto Parts tomorrow night at Brockville. Maybe we can get another one there.
Yeah, I'm hoping. You know, I'd love to get that too.
All right, how about it? Once again, 7th win of the season for Dylan Evoy, and he is the all-time sportsman win leader with 17 career wins. Brian.
So on the start, it is the 29 out of Governor, New York, Tom Conklin to the bottom side. But now here comes to the top side, the 88 of Timmy O'Brien. He is waiting for no one. Look at the battle royale going on in behind them. Timmy O'Brien to the top side. Here comes Tommy Conklin down on the bottom side, followed by Perry Francis, the 151 of Brian McDonald. McDonald, he loves that top side. He loves the dance with the devil. As he keeps the RPMs up, he slides by the 55 of Perry Francis. But so far, so good for Timmy O'Brien coming out of turn number 4. Lap number 1 is in the books. Lap number 2 now. Timmy O'Brien continues to lead. O'Brien opening up a wide margin as he fires down the backstretch. Wow. Watch Timmy O'Brien fire coming out of the turns, folks. He is able to keep his momentum up as he heads down to the front stretch on lap number 3. He continues to lead. 22 laps the remaining distance for the 358 modifieds. Tommy Conklin out of Governor, New York, rides along in second. Brian Slim McDonald out of Cornwall in third. Now we've got a car sliding in front of a couple other cars. Kerry Terrance gets loose. Can everybody get by? No, a car clips him. Matt Billings just gently brushes him. But now, start this one on lap number 3. Tommy Conklin to the top side. Here comes Brian Slim McDonald along with Laurent Ladisser and Chris Raby. Chris Raby, the young hot shoe, looks to make a move. Here comes Ladisser to the top side out of turn number 2. Boy, he's looking to get there in a hurry, and he's doing exactly that. Timmy O'Brien now slows it going into turn 4. He's got a whole bunch of cars in behind him on lap number 5. Timmy O'Brien continues to lead.
And Tommy Conklin is right there with him down the backstretch. Watch for Brian McDonald. He is charging hard up on the top side of the speedway with Chris Raby right there up underneath him. Off of corner number 4 they go. It still is O'Brien leading the way, followed by Conklin. And now McDonald starting to show some muscle on the top side of the speedway. Ladisser trying to get by Conklin, couldn't quite do it. Gets into the slick stuff off of corner number 2 as they trade positions back and forth. 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4 for the second spot. Ladisser right through the middle of the racetrack, and he grabs the number 2 spot going down the front stretch. Meanwhile, his teammate Billy Dunn battling with Dale Plank and Danny O'Brien as they head down the backstretch. And the 23D of Dunn starts to make his way forward, trying to get alongside of Plank coming up off the corner. Meanwhile, O'Brien, waiting for no one, jumps out to about a 7-car length advantage going through turns 1 and 2. And they're still 3 wide. And this is just for 8th spot, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Dunn has it right now as he works on Delormier. Now Roy Tarbell getting into the mix as well. Off of corner number 4, it is O'Brien leading the parade. Down in front, Ladisser, Raby, your top 3. Tommy Conklin all by himself into 4th, and then from there on back from Roy Tarbell on back to Kerry Terrance. It is a scramble for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th as they are running pretty hard out there with O'Brien in command at lap 10.
O'Brien leading the race here, lap number 10, commanding lead. A lot of rubber been laid down after that 40-lap feature for the sportsman. But now, in that number 2 spot, the Laser out of Alexandria, Ontario. Mr. Radiator Laurent Ladisser rides in second, followed by Raby. Tommy Conklin and Billy Dunn. Billy Dunn in hot pursuit here of the 29 machine of Tommy Conklin. Back to the top side. Here comes Roy Tarbell, the 007. Back to the top side as Tarbell, lap number 12. as looking to break away is Timmy O'Brien, and lap traffic is going to be an issue as he fires down to the backstretch. He's got up in front of him the 7 of Harvey Arquette and Kevin Federley. You got to be careful picking your race groove here. The veteran behind him, the 23 of Laurent Ladouceur, would love nothing better than for a slip up on lap number 13 and to wrangle that race lead away from the 88 of Timmy O'Brien. O'Brien, he clears the number 7 machine of Arquette. Ladouceur looking to do the same as they come out of turn number 4. O'Brien back to the bottom on lap number 14 as he'll clear the 57 Dairy Queen car of Kevin Federley. Federley going to fight back on the top side here. O'Brien, he'll fire back down to the backstretch. He'll set his machine high into turn number 3 as Federley will take it pit side. Laurent Ladouceur able to make up a bunch of ground on lap number 15, but Timmy O'Brien continues to lead.
Down the back straightaway they go, and now Timmy O'Brien has company. Laurent Ladouceur has come up through this field, running in the number 2 spot as he works down to the inside. O'Brien working the top shelf, going through turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Chris Ramby all by himself into 3rd. Roy Tarbell having trouble navigating lap traffic as Brian McDonald. A great run he was having at the moment has suddenly come to a halt down the back straightaway. He is way off of there, out of harm's way, but the caution flag will wave. With 7 hold off Ladouceur, but Chris Rabby and Billy Dunn are right there with him. Off of corner number 4 we go. We're back underway. Green flag is out. Field heads down into turns 1 and 2. O'Brien sticks it down low. Billy Dunn has switched lanes. He goes to the top side coming off of corner number 2. And look at Matt Billings go. Where did he come from? Out of nowhere. Billings jumps to the bottom side as Danny O'Brien a little out of shape off of corner number 4. Loses a bunch of spots. Meanwhile, back up in front to the lead. It is the 23 of Ladouceur going the long way around as O'Brien fighting back on the bottom. Into turns 3 and 4 they go. Ladouceur on the top shelf. Timmy O'Brien down low. And Laura, actually, that is Billy Dunn going the long way around. Tim O'Brien to pick up the lead. Ladouceur is 3rd, followed by Rabby and the 007 of Tarbell, rounding out your top 5 at this time. Field heads down the back straightaway. Billy Dunn is your new race leader. It's been a couple of weeks since Billy Dunn has gone to victory lane here, but right now he is the man of the hour leading this field going down into turns 1 and 2. O'Brien settles into the 2nd spot. Dunn's teammate Laurent Ladouceur on the top side looking to close in and take the runner-up spot away. He switches lanes to go down to the bottom. O'Brien caught on the top side. Here comes Ladouceur. Caution flag waves for Perry Francis as he is spun over there in between, ready to go, racing off of corner number 4 this time. Green flag flies and Billy Dunn grabs the advantage going down into turn number 1 off of corner number 2. Look at Ladouceur go on the top shelf. He gets around Timmy O'Brien to pick up the number 2 spot as they head down into turns 3 and 4 this time. O'Brien fights back on the bottom. Rabby is right there with him though off of turn number 4. Matt Billings has cracked into the top 5, running in 5th with just 3 laps left to go. Now, the Mr. Rad teammates are going to go at it. Down the back straightaway. Billy Dunn has the number 1 spot. Ladouceur working in spot number 2. 2 laps left to go this time for Billy Dunn. The man who has come from out of nowhere, Matt Billings, has showed his muscle. He rides in spot number 6 as Dale Plank has jumped up into the 5th spot. Down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. White flag will be displayed this time by. And does Laurent Ladouceur have anything left for Billy Dunn? We're about to find out. Shane Pecor has slowed in turn number 3. He will head pit side. But Billy Dunn's got about a 6-car length advantage over teammate Laurent Ladouceur. Into turns 3 and 4. Billy Dunn, for the 4th time in 6 weeks, will go to victory lane here at Mohawk. Billy Dunn grabs the win. 2nd will go to Ladouceur. 3rd will be Timmy O'Brien. 4th to Rabby. And Danny O'Brien at the line will charge up into the 5th spot. Dale Plank, Matt Billings, Kerry Terrance, Roy Tarbell, and Tommy
Carr, the number 23, Billy Dunn. Get a few words here with Billy as his pit crew makes their way down to victory lane. Billy, you went to the top side. You get around Timmy O'Brien. Did you think you could catch him?
On that restart, I knew everybody would go to the bottom, so I thought I'd roll the top. I really didn't think I'd get that good of a run. They just, I think Timmy just hit the hole down there and one kind of got the whole line still up, so I got a good run on him. But, it took a long time to get there. I had to work for this one.
So you've got 4 out of 6 here. Did you anticipate to have this success this season here at Mohawk?
Oh, absolutely not. But we've been good all year, and Laurent and his team and my guys that come up, they work really hard when they're here, and this car is good every week, and it's ready to go, and this just shows off everybody's hard work.
Pretty good way to start the weekend off. Friday night you win here, and then you head down to Canandaigua tomorrow night, right?
We're off this week. They got their fair down there, so this is the end of our weekend this week. Get ready for our series races coming up this month, and enjoy this victory.
Billy, another question. Who do you got to thank this week?
Oh, I got to thank Laurent and all these guys, and every week this car comes back the same way, and it's been good. I never expected to have this much success, but it's been a dream so far.
Thank you very much, Billy. We're going to draw the 50-50 winner tonight's
Underway at 7 o'clock for the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars at Cornwall. Green flag flies. We're underway. 25 laps for the TUSA Mod Light Series. And Klager and Dan Curving go up into the top 2 spots early on as Klager takes the long way around. Look at Matthew Robinson go in the number 88. And Robinson taking the long way around as well. Off of corner number 4 we go. Klager continues to lead the way down in front. It's Curving, Boget, and Paul May, along with Carl Lamontang in the 42. But Matthew Robinson sticking with that high line in the 88, and he has been fast all night long. He works the top shelf, and he is going up to the number 4 spot, getting around Paul May, or Jeff May, for that position. And we have got problems here in turn number 4, the 30 of Tim Reed. Last 5 weeks, so Green on a little bit of a tear here in 2012 and a perfect time. We've only got 4 races left to go in the regular season. Green flag is back out and we're underway. Down into 1 and 2 they go. Paul Klager on the top side, but Matthew Robinson not about to back down. He heads down the back straightaway with the lead. The 88 of Robinson is second. Curving is third, followed by Jeff May in the 23. Jim Boget rounds out the top 5 in the number 12. Meanwhile, the 48 of Raphael Furland holding down spot number 7 at this time as Scotty Waldrop just got around him for the 6th spot. Back up in front to the leaders, Paul Klager. Matthew Robinson showing the hometown crowd how strong he is against these invaders as he works in that number 2 spot, working the top side of the speedway at lap number 4 in this 25-lap feature go for the Mod Lights. And Dean Pronovost goes around in turn number 2, and everybody will be able to get by the 14 who is spun over there in turn 2, and the caution flag does.
Ontario Speedway. He looks to fire out at turn number 4. He'll do that, but here comes Robinson to the top side. He wants that number 1 spot and that qualifying spot to go to Florida. Robinson now on the top side. Klager rides the number 2 spot. Cars starting to separate just a little bit. Here comes Klager, not to be outhand, down to the bottom side into turn number 3. Klager on at turn 4. He looks to regain that lead. He does that on lap number 6 as Laframboy bobbles a bit coming out of turn number 4. And now back to the top side will come Robinson. Down the backstretch, still fires. Klager puts her into turn number 3, looks for 4, but here comes Robinson battling back on the top side in his little mini mod light machine. Klager leads lap number 6, starting to open up that lead once again on the 88 of Matthew Robinson. Klager out of Merrittville, Ontario, making it the trip back to Mohawk this week, looking to make it 2 in a row. Robinson now gets a little squirrely as he's doing everything he can to keep up with race leader Paul Klager. Brian Green now cracks the top 5 for the first time this evening on lap number 8. He's looking to get by the number 60 machine of Scott Waldrop. He'll try to do that, but now it's too wide going down the backstretch. Not a lot of room here for Brian Green. He'll drift back to the top side to get that number 4 position. Sets his sights on the number 3 position of Waldrop. So far, so good for him as he's able to get by the 23 of Jeff May. Now, Waldrop in front of Green. Green in the number 1 machine down to the bottom as he'll take into the turns 3 and 4, trying to get by Waldrop for that number 3 position. Next car on dial for him will be the 88 of Matthew Robinson on lap number 10. Continuing to lead is the 12 of Paul Klager.
And Klager's way out in front of the field here. He's got about 8 car lengths on Robinson as they ride in spot number 2. Then Brian Green, who won the opener for this series. We got a car around. It is Matt Shantosh in the number 2, spun around here on lap number 10. Bringing a fair.
Oh, you better have it catered.
Off of corner number 4, green flag is back out, and we're back underway. And Klager using the top side to his advantage. He'll go a long way around Matthew Robinson to pick up the lead. Meanwhile, Brian Green, who won the opener here for this series on July the 13th, motors away down into turns 3 and 4. And the one of Green down on the bottom trying to get by the 88 of Robinson for that second spot. And he will do so as they head through turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Now Green sets his sights on Paul Klager. Klager fights him off on the top shelf, and Brian Green battles down low once again with Robinson in that third spot. Scotty Waldorf has come up to play as well. He rides in that fourth spot with Jeff May working to his outside. Halfway sign is out. 13 are complete. 12 to go, and Brian Green charges down low, and he is your new leader as they work into turns 3 and 4 this time. Brian Green looking to go for 2 for 2 in this 97.3 CKON FM TUSA Mod Light Series here at Mohawk. And Klager not about to back down from Brian Green either. Motors away in that number 2 spot, and he is alongside of Green coming down the back straightaway. Side by side, the 1 and the 1K going at it into turns 3 and 4. Off of corner number 4 this time by Klager. Down on the bottom, Brian Green up on the top side. And he is able to hold him off at this time. Scotty Waldorf got way out of shape. Loses the number 5 spot. As they head down the backstretch off of corner number 2. Into turn 3 now. Brian Green has switched lanes. He's going to try to go the long way around. No such luck that time off of corner number 4. We got 15 laps complete.
10 laps remaining distance for this TUSA qualifying event. Brian Green riding in that number 2 spot, the one of Paul Klager. Up front now, as Green has given him some stiff competition. We got a car into the wall here, as I do believe that is the oath.
This is how the voting went
right,
down,
exactly.
That's all.
So, it'll be Klager along with Brian Green. The ones and ones will fire away. Matthew Robinson in that number 3 spot, followed by the number 23 of Jeff May. 15 laps in, 10 laps to go. But here comes Robinson on the top side. He shows a little something to the number 1. He shows 1 tire, 2 tires, and now he gets up, pulls alongside Brian Green. Brian Green going to drift up a little bit, shorten up the track for the 88 machine of Matthew Robinson. That allows Klager to break away. He says, I love it, boys. Race for that number 2 spot. But here comes Brian Green back to the top side out of 4. And now Robinson spins it, loops it, going down to the backstretch. Cars on the blinders. We got a couple cars. We got 1 rollover. And a couple of cars being collected. Hard hit on the backstretch.
Yeah, Regine Lemieux was the driver that went upside down there. We'll have to make, hopefully everybody is okay. Number 4 is Matt Shantosh has taken the number 2 pit side, and Sylvain Laframboise is going pit side as well with the number 7. So a tough break for these drivers late in the going. Green flag is out. And we're back underway. Here comes Brian Green in a bid for the lead, but here comes Jeff May up to the top side of the speedway. He drives around Green like he was tied to a pole out there. And right now, Jeff May looking to go the long way around Paul Klager, but Brian Green fighting back on the bottom. Klager able to hold a top spot at lap 17, but Jeff May is going to have other ideas here. May goes once again to the top side. He gets around Green once again, coming down the back straightaway in pursuit of Paul Klager. Going down into turns 3 and 4. Scotty Waldorf is fourth, followed by Furland in the number 48. As they head down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Jeff May puts his foot to the floor, trying to drive around Paul Klager. He has cleared Brian Green down the back straightaway as we work in lap number 19. This time by off of corner number 4. Paul Klager continues to lead the way, but the battle is for that second spot as Jeff May has it. Brian Green wants to get it back, and May goes around the one of Green this time by, but in the process, he closes a gap on Paul Klager. Coming around, 5 laps left to go. It's a 3-car battle for the win.
3-car battle for the win, absolutely. Klager up front, Green in second, but here comes Jeff Mayday, top turn, on a turn number 2, down the backstretch, he'll fire. Back to the bottom will go Brian Green. The battle for that number 2 spot is the one to watch as Green will drift up the track and make a little bit of room for the 23 of Jeff May. May loves to carry that momentum coming out of turn 2, but Brian Green now able to get in front of the 23 car and kind of break his momentum as he goes in the turns number 3 and 4. 21 laps in the books now as Klager able to slip ahead ever so slightly ahead of this number 1 machine of Brian Green. 3 laps remaining for Paul Klager. Can he make it 2 for 2 and pick up that qualifying spot for the TUSA Nationals in Florida? Back to the top side, we'll go the 23 of Jeff May. Paul Klager likes what he sees. He's got 2 laps remaining here as Brian Green and Jeff May are going to battle it out for that number 2 spot. Green now really pushing that race car hard. He gets a little loose and sideways coming out of turn number 2. He'll go back to the bottom side. 1 lap remaining here for Paul Klager. Like we mentioned, he won it last week here at Mohawk International Raceway. Can he make it 2 for 2? As he'll head down to the backstretch, looking to get by Tim Reef and put him a lap down. Klager to the bottom. Klager now in between turns 3 and 4. He'll come up for the number 1. Paul Klager will pick up tonight's TUSA 25-lap main event for the Mod Lights, followed by the 1 of Brian Green, the 23 of Jeff May, the 60 of Scott Waldriff, and the 12 of Jim Boget.
So there he is, getting out of the race car once again. Week number 2, 2 wins in a row. Got his 1R Pro Stock figured out and back running once again. We're off and running. 20 laps the distance. We're underway. Green flag is out. And Alan Peters, Dion Oaks battle it up for first and second going down the back straightaway. The 4 of Rock Ome along with the ON of Owen White and the 6 of Stefan LeBrun chase after each other in the top 5 as they work it up off of corner number 4. Dion Oaks in control of this race. Down in front they hustle, and Alan Peters in the 88 along with the 4 of Rock Oban hold down the top 3 spots, and from 4th on back is a scramble, and PJ Peters looking to charge to the front of the field, and he is up alongside of LeBrun going into turn number 3, and PJ Peters, your current points leader, jumps by the 6 of Stefan LeBrun going down the front stretch. At lap number 2, it is Dion Oaks, your race leader, but the battle is now for the number 2 spot as the 4 of Oban digging down low on the 88 of Alan Peters, going down into turns 3 and 4, and PJ Peters is right there with him in the number 4 spot with LeBrun still completing the top 5. Then it's Owen White, Mark Lalone, Dan Denway, Sid Harmer Jr., and the 69 of Jody Swamp along with the 57K of Kevin Federley Jr. Down the back straightaway they go. Dion Oaks looking to make short work of this field as they're working up off of corner number 4 and down the front straightaway. Oaks in command of this race. Rock Oban is still trying to hold PJ Peters at bay for the number 2 spot as Alan Peters has fallen to 4th. Mark Lalone looking to take the long way around as he goes to the top shelf trying to get around the 6 of Stefan LeBrun going into turns 3 and 4. They're side by side for 5th. Meanwhile, they're side by side for 2nd and 3rd, and PJ Peters makes short work of that at lap number 5.
15 laps of remaining distance now. Dion Oaks on at turn 2, puts a little sideways going down to the backstretch. He's looking to pick up his 2nd win of the season here. It had been 2 years prior. He's looking not to have that long of a drought this season. As now, PJ Peters, he's able to get by the number 4 machine of Rock Oban. Stefan LeBrun in the number 8 car rides in that number, correction on that one. That is the 88 of Alan Peters rides in 4th. Now LeBrun is going to pull up to that number 4 spot. Alan Peters will slide back to 5th. Mark Lalone in 6th. Here comes Dion Oaks around on lap number 6. Dion Oaks has led every single lap here, as much like he did a few weeks ago, picking up his first win since the 2010 campaign. Oaks now in the turns 3 and 4. He'll get a little high going into turn number 3. PJ Peters going to drift up even higher, looking for a little racing moisture here. Tell you what, PJ Peters has had a couple of tough stretches as he's looked at in front of him, seen Joey Lattiser and doing everything he could to catch him last week. And now this week, the 48 machine of Dion Oaks is hooked up yet again at the Mohawk International Raceway on lap number 9 as we continue this 20-lap affair. Rock Oban and Stefan LeBrun will battle for that number 4 spot. Correction, the number 3 spot. To the top side will go Oban. LeBron going to drift up a little bit going into turns number 3, lap 10. Your race leader continues to be the 48 of Dion Oaks.
And Dion Oaks has opened up a little bit of a lead, but PJ Peters is on a mission right now, working in that number 2 spot. He has got about 3 car lengths between himself and Dion Oaks, and that gap is narrowing. Going into turns 3 and 4 as Kevin Federley Jr. is pulled to 57 off the speedway, done for the night. He'll save that car for Brockville tomorrow in the street stock division as the field works down into turns 1 and 2, and PJ Peters is going to make a race out of this one before it's over with. Lap number 11 is up on the scoreboard. Here comes Stefan LeBrun in a bid for the number 3 spot, and he gets on by. And right now, LeBrun settles into that 3rd spot. Rock Oban is 4th, followed by the 8 of Mark Lalonde. Then Owen White just behind him in the 6th spot. Owen, the defending Bandit track champion. And around goes Alan Peters with help from Dan Denway in the 64 as Sid Harmer Jr. and Kevin Federley get on by. That will bring more remain, and can Dion Oaks hold off the hard-charging PJ Peters? We'll have to wait and see. Green flag is back on, and we're back underway. The 6 of Stefan LeBrun back there in 3rd. Rock Oban and Mark Lalonde, your top 5 as they head down the back straightaway. Now Rock Oban puts his foot to the floor trying to get to the top side off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway, but no such luck as the top 3 are glued right to the bottom, and Dion Oaks slipped up a little bit coming up off corner number 4, and that allowed PJ Peters to get the nose alongside but couldn't follow through with the pass. Now he's going to try the middle of the racetrack going through turns 1 and 2, and he may have found something right there through the middle of the racetrack into turns 3 and 4. Now Peters puts it up to the top shelf coming up off of corner number 4. 14 laps up on the scoreboard this time by. We're 6 laps left from heading home here, and Peters now goes to the top side again in turn 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, they're wheel to wheel, side by side, going into turn number 3. Come around this time, and Mark Lalonde hard into the fence on the backstretch, and that will definitely bring out the caution here. Was in the field. He had a great run as well, and we'll be having another great Enduro on September the 22nd.
So PJ Peters to fire away. We're back to racing conditions. 5 laps the remaining distance for the Pro Stocks to conclude tonight's Wild Country 96.5 fair of events around there. As now PJ Peters to the top side. Dion Oaks, he's going to battle right back, looking to pick up win number 2 of the season at Mohawk. And now Owen White and Jody Swamp battling back and forth, trading paint. White car on white car. Owen White now drifts to the top side in front of Jody Swamp. Jody Swamp going to do everything he can to reel in Owen. But now, back up front, the race to watch with 3 laps remaining. It is PJ Peters with the race lead, now creeping his way into that number 3 spot. Stefan LeBrun, but here comes Owen White, his best run of the season. Slips a little bit down on the backstretch. That'll allow Jody Swamp to catch up. Jody Swamp, he'll show Owen a bumper. Rather, a front fender. Now coming out of 4 there, side by side. Jody Swamp on the bottom. Owen White to the top side. They are side by side. LeBrun bobbles a little bit, and that allows White and Swamp to close in. PJ Peters, he broke away from Dion Oaks in that number 1 spot. Goes to the top side. Here comes Jody Swamp on the rear bumper of the 6 machine of Stefan LeBrun. He's going to force Owen White to the top side going into turn number 1. 1 lap remaining for PJ Peters, looking to pick up win number 2 of the season as well. Jody Swamp, he slips by the 01 of Owen White, but coming out of turn 4. Here he is, the 73, PJ Peters. He'll pick up win number 2, followed by the 6 machine of LeBrun, who gets by Dion Oaks. Followed by Dion Oaks, the 69 of Jody Swamp, and the ON of Owen White.
Drive home, everybody, and we'll see you right back here next week. Good night, everybody.